go-to podcast for all things gaming. And, yeah, gaming. Or not, yeah, who knows.
Please,
so the first
we
thing
need people.
we're going to talk about is what is tea in gaming? That's probably going to be a very frequently asked question. Well,
Here,
tea
I
in
got
games.
this. It's
Okay.
two American young adults that drink tea, play video games, and talk about them.
Perfect.
While we
Sums
play.
it up into a bottle. Throws it into the ocean with a little message on it that says, "Watch me." Or not. Totally up to you. Right, so the first thing we're going to be covering today is news in gaming. Derpy, do you know the game series Lawbreakers?
I do not. Do you mind talking to me about it? Telling me about it?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's only on PC. But they released their first patch, which buffs a character known as Gunslinger, nerfs a character known as Harrier, and I must say the game is very similar to Overwatch, but different. It's like Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege had a baby, right?
Sounds
So
accurate.
the character Gunslinger apparently can warp around the map.
That's kinda OP, don't you think?
Yeah, but we already get that in Rainbow Six.
Everything's OP
I
in
just-
Rainbow Six.
I just can't tell if it's lag from people or if it's actually people warping around the map sometimes. You know? Come here, drone.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That happens all the time. Especially
no.
in this game.
There's a switch.
This game isn't bad. It used to be great, and they can only make it better. It's kind of like, I was playing the other day, and rubber banding, if you're not a constant player of this game, whoever's watching, and you haven't played before and you've experienced rubber banding, it's still a thing in this game that we don't know why the developers haven't fixed it, but once it is, it's great. I was playing the other day, with Kris of course, and jumped out a window to get a kill. I rubber banded, and the guy got the upper hand. If I hadn't been rubber banding, I would have gotten the kill. It's a simple fix that they're just don't do.
So going back to
upsets me.
Lawbreaker, the character
Yes.
Harrier has a super laser apparently, and her damage per shot is being dropped from 500 to 400. 500 hit points? I kind of wish I had that in Rainbow Six Siege, but it was only available to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In other gaming news, Mountain Blade 2's release date isn't going to be revealed at Gamescom, they're saying. Let me kill this drone before I continue reading what I have written down.
Grenade. Oh, I died.
They have not released,
Ramp.
they're not going to release
Down
a
the stairs.
date at Gamescom. Oh no, because they say it doesn't exist yet. They don't believe in, they said, quote, "We don't believe in releasing a game before it's ready, just because we might miss the hype."
It's kinda stupid.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I've seen Call of Duty release plenty of games before they were ready. And they were still like,
got
you know
an
what,
inch-
this
oh,
is... They're like, you know what, this is the greatest game we've ever made. And then it flops half the time. But let's not delve into that.
Everything that they have in this game is fixable. They just decide not to. I have
That's
two
the
injures.
next thing we're going to talk about. The newest Blood Orchid update is coming very soon to Rainbow Six Siege. And a lot of people wonder, how is Red Orchid going to be different from, say, whatever the newest one was that they just had with Habana and the other guy?
Red Crow. There you go.
Red Crow, there we go. It's gonna be very,
But I believe,
very different.
Friendly, last operator standing.
but I believe the most recent one was Velvet Shell.
Was it really?
Yeah, with Jackal and Mira. Yes.
Interesting.
Also, everyone
So-
that is watching, I would just like to say, I know it's a little off topic, but if you're looking to pre-order Call of Duty World War II, there's only two that you can get. The $65 one for console, I believe it's also $60 for PC. That just is regular.
Hang on, let's clear this up. It is $60 for console if you order it through the gaming interface. So if you order it off the
Yeah, that's
PlayStation
true.
Network or Xbox Live, if you
Yeah.
if you pre-order it from
I got it from
GameStop, it's
GameStop,
an extra
so-
$5.
But if you order it in general from anywhere for the, there's only two. You can either pre-order regular or you could pre-order deluxe edition, which is $100, which is full prestige, free DLC when it comes out, and I'm sorry right now, free DLC and full access to the private beta. But what kind of pisses me off is that you can't get, there is no in between. There isn't like, oh, I can get a $75 one that gives me access to all this stuff, but it doesn't, like, it doesn't have the DLC or something. Like, it gives me everything else, but doesn't have the DLC. But there is no in between this time. It's just one or the other if you want to pre-order it. And but what kind of makes me happy at the same time is if the regular game is probably going to be the same amount if you pre-ordered it standard or just standard buy it. It'll probably be $60 no matter what you do. So I would recommend, if you can, pre-ordering it, because then you get access for console. I don't remember what it is for PC, but for console it is
September 1st.
September 1st through the 4th.
I believe
Yes.
PC has the same early access release date.
I looked it up and it's not. It's
not?
August. It's like the last. It's like the last 4 days of August, I believe. So for PlayStation 4. So if you want to get it even earlier and you have a PlayStation 4, pre-order it. You get it about 4 days earlier than Xbox One. But the thing with
So-
PS4, which also kind of pisses me off, is that Xbox One gets it for 4 days. PC gets it for 4 days earlier, and then PS4 gets it for 8 days in total. That's
So
what
one
makes me
thing
upset.
that's really interesting, going back to Rainbow Six Siege's new update, one thing that I think is really interesting about the Blood Orchid update is the operator Ying. If you go to the Rainbow Six website right now, you can actually find out information about some of their next characters, and Ying, it says, was was nicknamed the Flying Tigers, which was his operations. The SDU was nicknamed the Flying Tigers, and it sounds basically just like the Chinese version of the Navy SEALs. It says they have close ties with the SAS. And I don't think we quite yet know what her special ability is, but it has been leaked that one of them lays down a mine, kind of similar to Smoke's, because it downs pretty quickly. But I think that's about it. They just lay it down, and then it's camouflaged like Echo's drone. So, Derpy, do you think that's OP? I think that's a bit OP.
Way.
It downs you, just like a caltrop, basically. But it's got poison in it, somehow. And it also slows you down after you get up from it, I think. If we have it figured out correctly. That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's a little confusing to me. Because it camouflages itself, so there must be a way that you can see it. I guess IQ is going to be very, very important now. I mean, she was already
And
pretty
you know what,
important.
it really,
But
yeah. And
she's
a lot of
is
people don't
pretty
use
good.
IQ for, like, that her guns were stupid, or actually the only reason that people chose her before everything was that she could either see pulse or her guns were so OP, and they still are OP, but people still don't choose her, and they tried to get them to choose her because she has frags now, but people still don't choose her, and I don't know why, because one, she has frags, she can see, like, the objective through a wall. You can be outside, have the mutes, you can't get the objective, you don't know exactly where it is, you have an IQ, she's outside, looks through all the walls, it has a vision of 20 meters, so it can see wherever in the map, unless you're on, like, a huge map like Barlet or Bank, and you're on the other side of the map. And
Secure the area.
unless it's
Bombs
hostage, she
protected.
can see where they are. So she's a very valuable person, and she can save people from using their Thatcher or save people from using a Twitch. She's very helpful, and I don't know why more people choose her.
That's a good point, because I do see that they have a very good functionality, and she has a really good purpose, but her choose rate is one of the lowest out of any of the operators. It's definitely not the lowest, but it is very low.
10 seconds.
I believe
that kinda
Tachanka's the lowest,
confuses
even
me
though
sometimes.
Tachanka is very good in the right hands.
Yeah.
If you are a very good player and you use Tachanka, a lot of people, like, especially kids that play this game, will be like, why are you picking Tachanka? He's the worst. But if you're a good player, he's probably one of the best, because his turret is so powerful. If you know what you're doing and you have your turret in the right spot and you know how to play Tachanka, you got this. I once went on a 4-man 1v4 streak with Tachanka.
So let's talk about Call of Duty World War II for a minute, which I know we've already done a little bit of. But so you were talking earlier to me about the newest Zombies trailer.
Yes,
And
Zombies is going to be different this time around. All the Call of Duty games recently have been, it's mostly fun and focused around Easter eggs, but the new Zombies mode is going to be different. The new Zombies mode is going to be more horror based around, kind of like how the recent Resident Evil 7 was, where it was more focused around horror and jump scares than fighting.
I'm an idiot.
And that's how it is going to be now. I can come get you in a second, unless you die.
Anyway, so I didn't ever really get into the zombies thing like I told you earlier. So could you explain to me exactly what do you mean by they were more fun based and now it's more horror based?
It used to be that it wasn't. I'm dead. I'm sorry. It used to be that like if you were the first time zombie player, it was scary. That was a thing. I remember playing Black Ops 1 when I first time zombie player, and I remember hiding. And you killed yourself with
One friendly operator remaining.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
I'm sorry.
accidentally
That's
downed
funny.
myself with an impact.
That's funny. I'm sorry. But it
It is
used to
pretty
be like I can play Black Ops 1 right now, and it isn't scary to me at all. It isn't terrifying. I mean, there's no jump scares. I mean, there are some maps, like some DLC maps did have jump scares. There was no jump, but you'd have to look for them. They were like Easter egg jump scares.
All friendlies were eliminated.
It was more based around having fun. Like, you would join with your friends and you would kill zombies together, and you'd get points, and you'd open, and you'd get different guns, and you just work to have fun. And it is a very fun game. I've gotten to probably round 50 with my friends, and it was just probably one of the funnest games I've ever played. And that goes for every zombies game that I've ever played. I have not played the zombies mode in Advanced Warfare because you had to buy that. I also did not get Infinity Warfare because I thought that was kind of cheesy. I had Black Ops 3 for a while. I didn't really like the zombies mode. And I never played World at War Zombies. I wish I did. I didn't really like how Ghosts and Modern Warfare took out the zombies. Ghosts put in aliens. It wasn't a horrible mode. It was actually kind of fun, but I never had Xbox Live, so it was kind of me all the time. And my dad wasn't a great player, but it was fun to play with him. Same thing with Modern Warfare 3, I used to do Shred. That was always a fun little adventure, getting back to zombies anyway. If you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend uh, Call of Duty World War II, because it is not like how the recent zombies have been, where it's different kinds of like monsters, where Black Ops 3 was like regular zombies and then bees and meatballs and Goliaths. I don't know the actual name, but like the giant 3-head monsters and not actual zombies like the witches. It was like kind of a letdown, if you know what I mean. I mean, not saying that it was a bad map, but it was really confusing. I remember the old days when it was like mystery box, okay, right here, got it. And then, okay, pack-a-punch, link, press X, and done. But nowadays it's like, okay, you gotta perform all rituals, you gotta have all 4 people. Well, I mean, I guess you don't, but I've never figured out how to do it without all 4 people. And all this crazy, it's confused the hell out of me.
So moving on from
Yeah,
zombies,
but
you and I were talking earlier about how Call of Duty World War II could possibly go into the Pro League, because it just doesn't seem to be as fast-paced as the newer ones have
no,
been.
I think the fastest paced is going to be probably the flamethrower guy, because he can probably kill you in like a couple seconds. He will probably be a heavy character, but I'm counting on that. But it's I don't know how they're going to balance that.
aside from talking about the characters themselves, do you think it's possible that maybe the game modes will change to be better suited for Pro League, or do you think that they'll keep the same game modes that they have currently and have had for almost the entire Call of Duty career, and
Well,
just change slight things here and there to make it more adaptable?
I think it's a 50-50. There's no confirmed, but I know that there's going to be a team deathmatch. I know there's going to be a free-for-all mode. I know there's going to be search and destroy mode, because those are their top like making games. Those are the games that people play the most. And I know there's going to be party modes like gun game, and hopefully they bring back survival. That would be awesome. A co-op survival mode would be great. But getting back to multiplayer, I think it would go into Pro Leagues, but I think it would be like a deathmatch where there's no objective or anything. It's just 5 players, and it would be 5 teammates each, and then it would just be like a deathmatch to a certain amount of points. Not like if you die, it's over kind of thing. I don't know how they're going to balance that. I don't know how, not balance, but like I don't know how they're going to make it so like one person gets to a tank and you don't have a thing, but like you don't have like one of your squad mates is always going to have a Panzerfaust or something like that, whatever they're going to have in there. I would guess they'd have a Panzerfaust because that was their go-to World War II rocket launcher in the past, but I don't know if they're going to make it now.
So, while we're talking about loadouts in the game, do you think it's possible that they will just reuse the same weapons and damage profiles that they had back in Call of Duty 3 and Call of Duty 2 and stuff like that? Or do you think they're actually going to innovate a little bit more in terms of what you can use and how you can use it?
Well, I think they're going to go more in depth on what kind of guns there's going to be, because I remember in Call of Duty 3 and, not World at War, but I remember playing like the really old that kids these days don't even have a clue, like Medal of Honor, European Assault, the old Medal of Honor games. They were awesome. They were my favorite Call of Duty games. And I remember that you had like...
Hang on. I'm going to stop you right there. Medal of Honor was a completely different series than Call of Duty.
No, there was... Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure there was a Medal of Honor Call of Duty game.
No. There might have been a Call of Duty Medal of Honor, but Medal of Honor and Call of Duty have always been separate franchises.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, let me just look right here, because I have all the Call of Duty games right here. I played Call of Duty 3. Yep. I played... Wow, there are a lot of ones that aren't Call of Duty. Holy crap. What's this one? That's Tom Clancy's. That one can be saved for another day. I guess I just played Medal of Honor, that Call of Duty game. Oh, wait, nope, that's a different franchise. No, I gotta play a lot of Call of Duty games. Okay, I guess
You
I did,
probably have,
but-
and you just don't have them with you right now.
Yeah, I put a lot of them upstairs. But, it used to be like the M1 Grand and the M1 1911 were the main guns. Like, if you had a pistol, it was gonna be the 1911. Or the... It was just like the main pistol of whatever team you were on.
Also, speaking of teams and weaponry, do you think that it's possible that you won't be able to use American weapons on the German side and you won't be able to use German weapons on the American side, or do you think it's going to be like it has been where each side can use whatever weapons they want?
Well, what I'm thinking is that it's going to be quite possible that American, let's say like it's going to be the Americans and the Germans fighting. I can say that it could be quite possible that they're each going to have their own loadouts, because I've seen it before, but it's not going to be completely different. Like, let's say the Americans have the Thompson, then the
Protect the bombs.
Germans will have the MP44.
The MP44 is kind of like the BAR for the Germans, I think. The MP40 would probably be closer to the Thompson.
Well, it wouldn't be the same as in like, it would be a short, quick draw weapon that could have a variant clip, but a BAR would be like a, I can't even think about that. And I believe that they could also make grenades like the American grenade. I'm not actually sure what it's actually called, but it's like a regular grenade, and then
Bomb located by Op 4.
and then for Germans it can be Granata or Stalingrad, I forget.
The steel hand grenade.
Yeah,
Stick
and they can look
grenade.
completely different. And I'd be completely fine with that, but I think it should be evened out. So like they make guns that do basically the same amount of damage, but look completely different, make different sounds. That's what they should have.
So, what would be your response to someone who says Call of Duty World War II is a reskin of Battlefield 1 with smaller maps and different weapons?
I would say that you're right in a sense, but you're wrong in a sense as well. A lot of people look at it and say they stole the bayonet from Battlefield 1, but they didn't. That was in, I forget which Call of Duty it was in, but it was in a Call of Duty before it was in any Battlefield game. And a lot of people don't know that, and that's why they say they stole it. Call of Duty doesn't steal, as a lot of people think, but it more of innovates, if you think about it like that.
I know what you mean. They don't steal the ideas, they just improve on them.
They made
I think
the
you see that
bayonet
with a lot
animation.
of really popular gaming companies, actually. You see that they
Because-
take an idea that another gaming company that they've seen has had success with, and then they take it and they
One Op 4
change it up a
remaining.
little bit, and they make it their own. I think you see that over and over again. We
Yes,
definitely
because
saw
in Call of
that
Duty,
with Call of Duty World War II, because they saw that Battlefield went to World War I, and it had some really good success right after they released Infinite Warfare, which was set in the future and was a total flop. So of course they're going to take Battlefield's idea of moving back into the past, because they know that that's where the market is going again. So it's just like a wave in the ocean. It's gonna come and it's gonna go, but then it's gonna come back again.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
and they had the original idea for the bayonet. I didn't personally play that game, I just know that they had the original idea to have a bayonet on the end of the gun and use it as a melee weapon or a charge. And they're going to have a charge, but instead of like you running into the person and having a really long animation so you die really quick, it's going to be you run, you stab, you pull out, and you go.
Yes.
instead of having a huge animation and getting shot while doing that, it's just going to be quick. It's going to be longer than a regular melee attack because depending on what you're using, they might actually make it so it's not a one-hit kill with a melee like they did in previous games. Like with a shield, if you were using a shield, I don't know if they're going to have a shield operator. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
No,
I don't think they really had shields in World War II. Yeah.
No. But I believe that like destructibility will be a new thing in that game, depending on what it is. Like
So you can kind of mold the game.
You can mold the battlefield
a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Battlefield,
that is
you're like
another thing that I think they may have taken from Battlefield, because Battlefield has had world destruction since what, Bad Company? And Call of Duty, I think that's a new thing, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
But what I'm really looking
Ghosts
forward
had
is
world
that,
destruction,
yeah,
but it was really all
didn't
set up.
have,
It was
like,
very specific
yeah.
areas.
To use your drone to locate a bomb.
But a thing that I'm really hoping for is that either in this Call of Duty or the next one, they make it, and Battlefield will never be able to do this because they have such big maps. If they make a small map, they'll be able to do it. It'll just be so much lag. But what they could do in this game or the next one is make total destruction where everything is destructible, even the ground. You can, like, have a shell come down onto the ground and it explode and make a pit, like a trench. That would be cool.
So going along with your... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was done.
5 seconds before
Going along with your point of
the diffuser has been
wait a
recovered.
minute, I'm kind of lost now.
Your way to its location is indicated.
What are you lost on? I can best.
You were talking about game destruction.
How, like, in this Call of Duty or the next one, they should have.
Oh yes, never mind. I
total
figured it
destruction,
out.
But in Battlefield
So,
4, all those games,
When
they can't
Battlefield 1 released, the day of its release, all of their servers crashed. They had major problems with their servers. And Call of Duty has had that in the past, and in fact, Activision is one of the most well-known game development companies for having server problems on the day of a big release. Do you think we're going to see that with Call of Duty World War II?
I don't think we're going to see it as often. I mean, there's no getting around that it will crash, but if we can get around that it might not crash as much, that would be a big thing.
Or it might not crash as hard, even. You know, you might not
Like,
see
not
it
the whole
so
server.
universally.
One op 4 remaining.
Because it did...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It did seem like Battlefield 1 on its release day,
Op 4
kind of,
friendly
it
mission
was like
successful.
they had blackouts in patches across the world, but it really was a worldwide server blackout, right? Because it was like a traveling black spot. It started in the United States, and then it moved to Europe, and then it moved to Asia, and then it came back to the United States, and it really took them, I think, about a week to finally iron out all of their server issues. And
But
I think if Call of Duty World War II has that happen, it's either because it's a really popular game, which it will be, because everybody's been looking forward to Call of Duty going back to World War II for quite a long time
quite a
now.
long time, yeah.
So it is either going to be because of its popularity, or it's going to be because they beefed up their servers.
But I don't think that there are crashes. There's nothing getting around
My
that, but I
bad,
don't
my
think
mic
it's going to be
got
a
unplugged.
worldwide crash.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They
No,
beefed
no.
up their
I
servers
don't
in
think it's
areas
gonna
that
be
they thought were
worldwide.
going to be more popular, and then it turns out that it wasn't as popular, so now they're kind of stuck in the middle, you know? So, maybe not
Yeah,
a
but I don't
crash,
think
but
it's
because
going
they're
to-
resetting, because they thought it would be bigger than it was.
Ooh, I got a good skin for my M1 1911.
Oh, I got a blue.
Use that. Yeah, I got
Oh, I got jungle for the, it looks really nice, actually. Jungle for the,
Bope.
whatever it's called. Actually, it's universal.
Oh, I got for FBI operators M1 1911 camo. I
Nice.
really like it, so I'm gonna use it. Show it to you. Get into the next game. Continue. Sorry.
So I think Call of Duty World War II is going to be either one of the biggest hits of the year or one of the biggest fails of the year. But
And we can't see until that releases.
seeing as how much the community wanted Activision to finally go back to boots on the ground, and now that they've listened
But it's
to
not
the
Activision
audience.
anymore, it's Sledgehammer Games.
Oh, it's back to Sledgehammer? Perfect.
Yes.
Seeing that
it's
any
Sledgehammer,
company,
this is their first big release.
seeing that any company is releasing a game and they're listening to their audience is really one of the greatest things I think you can have. So when you see a big gaming company such as Sledgehammer or Activision, you know, bounces around every year.
Yeah.
When you see someone like that,
made Infinity Warfare and then that flumped, so they handed it over to Sledgehammer, back to Sledgehammer, and they decided to go back to World War II because Activision was just going to keep going into the future until Call of Duty was dead. But
Yeah,
Sledgehammer has a plan.
yeah, as going back to what I was saying, if a company listens to their audience like that, and they do what the audience has been asking for years, then you have a highly anticipated game. And when you have a highly anticipated game, you have feelings that'll go from, oh my god, I love this game, to oh my god, I hate this game. And I think we'll really only see that about a month after the game comes out. That's usually, a month is usually about a game's fail period. I think the first Titanfall lost half of its player base in less than a month. You know? But Titanfall 2 still has more than 1,000 players online, so obviously the company did something right that made players come back to it. And especially if they made enough money to even make a second one. Because as I understand, making AAA title games like that is not cheap.
And I do love Titanfall 2. Don't ever get me wrong, but it's not a game that I play solo. I don't like that game. It's a good campaign. It has a great campaign because you can not choose your story, but you can choose how to play your story. Instead of, oh, you get this gun, shoot these people. You unlock things as you go, so you can play it different every time. And I like how that works, because you can either play in your Titan for most of the game, or you can play on boots on the ground for most of the game.
So moving on from talking about game development, let's go to how you think Rainbow Six Siege could be improved as a game. And I know we kind of already touched on this subject today, but there's a lot of bugs in the game, like the dock glitch, which I guess we could show them.
I will show you right now.
Like the dock glitch,
I will narrate it as I do.
Usually has like an infinite ammo kind of deal going on.
It either gives you infinite ammo or a no reload for about 7 docks, and then you can only buff yourself.
Yeah, so why do you think Ubisoft has... Because obviously they're aware of these, right? Like there's tons of videos out now explaining how to do all of these glitches all over the place. So why do you think they haven't done anything about it? Do you think it's just laziness? Do you think it's because they want it to be in there to increase playtime or reviews or what?
There is a Twitch glitch on plane that I know of that I think is so OP. I'm not going to try that. I use the dock glitch for fun because I dock enemies, I dock teammates. I was playing, actually it was on this map, we were doing train room a couple hours ago, and I had so much fun with the dock glitch. I saved, there was a Frost player, I saved him from death like 4 times. At the end, it was like 3 of us versus squads outside the window and engine room, and I docked him like 3 times. I was having so much fun with it.
Alright, so let's show them how this works.
So you dock yourself, let it full reload, switch weapons for about 15 seconds. It's 10 to 15, but I do 15 to make sure. So when it hits 5 seconds on the clock, I will switch back.
10 seconds to insertion.
Just keep pressing Y till it's about 15 seconds, and then you pull out your dock and you keep docking yourself until your screen turns blue.
Op 4 has located the biohazard container.
And as you can see, he is not
Okay,
reloading.
and then you let yourself reloading. I'm infinitely reloading, and in a minute, when it stops reloading, I will just have like infinite docks. Yep.
So it really is a very simple glitch.
3 docks, 4 docks, 5 docks, -1.
Okay.
Right, I guess I got 5 docks. And as you see,
Device activated.
I'm out of ammo!
and now I can just dock myself once, reload, and shoot again.
Cover me! Reloading!
Oh, don't worry about that. I got you.
Swapping mag!
So as you can see, it really is a very simple glitch that anyone can do. So when you see something like this in a game, do you think it's the developers not really wanting to take it out, or do you think they're just too busy with other things to take it out at the moment? I mean, seeing that this is one of Ubisoft's top grossing games, and one of their biggest successes that they've ever made, why do you think they haven't changed it? There obviously has to be a reason, right? And you would think if this was one of their best games, they would have plenty of
I have negative
time
20
on their
docks.
hands.
Reloading! Cover me!
I just keep docking. Oh no, I lost a teammate. But I will
Docking
help
very
this
well.
one. Shut up. We just have bad teammates.
But in
You want some more drugs?
but seriously, the question, why do you think nobody's fixed it yet?
4 remaining. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
I don't know. There's so many glitches right now, and this seems like one of the big ones, because if you're Doc and you can just infinitely buff yourself
Like that, I
with
wouldn't
teammates,
have won that if I hadn't had the buff from the first guy. I would have died on the first.
And I was actually running to give you another buff because I just kept reloading, and a thing that really annoys me is that this is a video game that they designed, yet when you reload, it doesn't say like, oh, you have like 0 and 24 on the side. It says -24, like they meant to have it at some point. Like it was a designed glitch, or it was meant to happen. And that kind of pisses me off that they have a negative sign for ammo that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, because that does make it seem like it was wanted, right? Like it's in there on
Next
purpose.
time we're defending, we'll have Kris do it, and he can show you that there's an actual negative sign.
You know, to be honest,
your
I've
screen.
never gotten the negative.
Oh, like after you use all the docks, what you have to do, like on your last dock, when it says 0, 0, you buff yourself, and then you can just keep reloading.
Yeah, my guy just always puts it away.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
I know. I think I've only ever gotten it to go into the negatives once. I don't know what I did any different, but
I need to make myself more tea in a minute, but continue.
Insertion in 5
so
seconds.
there are some other
Biohazard
glitches
container
in the game
located.
that
Proceed to its
some
location.
people have declared game breaking. Do you think you found any that are
Breaking?
game breaking besides? Yeah, they kind of like basically it means like they ruin the game. Besides the ones that we just discussed, besides the dock glitch.
Well, besides that, the Twitch on plane that I can describe to you because we're not playing on that map, and I want to describe and not show in case any of you want to try this glitch, which I do not approve of. If you are on the main entrance to the plane, like the main stairwell area, not the cockpit, but to the one below it. If you're on that, and you go inside into the left to the left window, like if you go in and turn around back to the stairs and there's a left window, if you go kneeling next to that and throw your Twitch drone into the window, it looks like it bounces back, but it actually goes underneath the plane. and that Twitch drone can scan and shock anyone that is in the basement. It is so overpowered, and I hate it. I've had it used against me. I actually had a friend that was permabanned for using it. If you don't know, not with you, Kris.
So that brings up another question. Why does Ubisoft have these glitches that they refuse to fix and then choose to ban the players for using them? When obviously it seems to be, you know, like a pretty harmless act, right? Like, you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, I'm gonna use this because it's game breaking, right? I mean, sometimes some people do that because they're malicious, but I think most people who use glitches just kind of do them because they're there, right? Like, that's human nature. You do something because it's there. So when I see players getting punished for using a specific glitch like that, and it's one that Ubisoft is very aware of, and they still haven't done anything to fix, I often ask myself, why? Right? Like, why ban a player for doing something that you obviously don't mind happening because you left it in?
And what really pisses us off is that, Kris, you have a friend that works for Ubisoft, and that you know that they left some of the glitches in, including the Valkyrie glitch on Bank, that they can just, they leave it in so that they can use it in their own custom games instead of fixing it, which isn't very mature if you look at it. It's irresponsible because it'd be okay if they did it to see if it was an actual thing in a custom game, but to keep using it and not fixing it because they use it for fun instead of fixing it for everyone else, play their game and bought their game, spend money for their game, that kind of pisses me off.
That is one thing that I think Rainbow Six Siege and Ubisoft really isn't doing very well. And going back to the Call of Duty thing, they're listening to their fan base. Rainbow Six Siege, they listen to their PC players. And I get it, PC is probably about 50% of the people that actually play Rainbow Six Siege. It's probably about 50% of them are on PC. But you would think you would listen to the... Exactly, you would think they would listen to the other 50% that play on consoles as well.
And if you think about it, the dot glitch actually works on PC and on console, as well as the Valkyrie glitch. It works on same. And they don't fix it, and I don't know why. It's like they listen but don't really hear.
Yeah.
Down to 10 seconds.
They listen to what their fans want. But then when the time comes for them to fix what their fans want them to fix, they have something else in mind that they already think needs fixing. And at that point, you kind of have to ask yourself, is it really worth trying to get them to listen anymore? You know?
Yeah.
Because are they going to listen? Is the question. Or are they just going to disregard it?
And with Ubisoft, it's a like a small chance because you need to be very high up for them to listen to you. And I mean, we're doing this podcast more or less to aware the players and hopefully the developers at some point. But we'll never know when something happens, and hopefully it does. Never know, but two people can't do this on themselves.
I think it's gotten to a point where Ubisoft knows what their players need and wants to help them, but at the same time is conflicted as to whether they should make a profit or satisfy their players and satisfy their fan base. And I think it's at that point in time when you have to ask yourself, is it really worth playing games by these companies if that's what they do.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's worth it anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Rainbow Six Siege, and I love what they've done with it, more or less, but they have a lot of fixing to do, and I'm looking for the future, but they have stuff to get done.
Should I get a doc?
Yep.
Like a couple of them.
Yep, just hold still. I can give you one
Good,
more.
thank you.
Full health.
So, now that we've talked about pretty much everything that I had thought of to talk about, can you think of anything we should cover in today's episode?
Well, oh god damn it. I think we've covered everything that we could cover, but we're going to be covering a lot more. This isn't the end. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to do. So,
Yeah, I think next
like
time
saw?
we should definitely start writing scripts.
I kind of like freestyling, though, at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we can write a script basically saying, like, this is what we want to say, and then we can, you know, change it from there if we feel.
I know what you mean.
Change
So,
it on the fly.
if you... Anyone
Anyway,
that sees this or
that is
watching
just
this,
about our 50-minute mark. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this video on demand, you can always go over to my Twitch or even my Mixer, which I will leave in the description box. And if you're watching this on Twitch or Mixer,
15 seconds.
thank you. And drink some tea. That's all I got.
10 seconds left.
Thank you for watching.
Op 4, last stop standing.
Cool.
Op 4
That's it. That's all I got.
Alright.
This has been Tea and Games, Episode 1.
Thank you
My
for
name's
watching,
Kris.
and have a good night. My name is James.